at the 15. He's on his feet. 10, 5, touchdown.
The Jake Nulph Show.
Go Burrow.
Well, welcome to another episode of the Jake Nulph Show. We're live here at Charlie's Pub and Eatery, and certainly a exciting, enthusiastic Saturday night behind us, and a homecoming of sorts that, I don't know, I guess you didn't spoil the party. You added to it, went to Bobby Moe. The alum goes home, gets a win. I mean, I don't know, shock the world. Again, when you wrestle up a couple of weight classes, it's not the same thing. And, I mean, I guess I'm still trying to process it. I remember specifically when with some of the lengthy media timeouts, I just said to Nate, I'm like, I think this is going to happen. Like, you just felt that it was going to happen. And I'm not going to lie to you, it kind of felt like it was going to happen right off the jump. You march down 16 plays, 76 yards, 921. You get a touchdown. You're out in front. The surprise onside kick, you did it to him again. It started with the stars aligning, and then it was momentum, control the line of scrimmage, physical. You were the more physical team, but I know you don't want to.
There's a lot to digest there. Where would you like me to start?
I don't know. I'm still trying to put it all together.
Well, I mean, look, Joe, when you go into a game like you mentioned, we're wrestling up in weight class, right? You know, it was a total program win. And it starts at the top with Dr. Robbins and allowing me to schedule this game. You know, unlike her and everybody else, like, why are you scheduling this game? You know, we were ready for it. And it starts with her and it goes to the staff. I mean, our coaches absolutely called a tremendous game, whether it was Coach Papley or Coach White. And then the staff and all the position coaches, we were in it for 4 quarters. We executed the game plan, and it starts at the top, and then it goes to the players. I mean, you mentioned we were the more physical football team. You know, we made a ton of plays, and our fundamental will to compete was so high. I've never been more proud of a program or a football team than I was Saturday night. Obviously, playing the alma mater for myself and Coach Haw, it was a great win, but it was a program win. And from the very start, you mentioned it. We go, the long drive took almost 9.5 minutes off the clock. Methodical. The game plan was we were going to try to play keep away. And when you take the opening possession down and you convert on a 4th and 2, a long 4th and 2, and we were able to run the football, behind the offensive line there and stay on schedule. And, the touchdown pass to Teagan was something that we saw on film. They played a ton of man and didn't do much with the motion down there. So we, credit to Coach White and the offensive staff for scheming that up. And again, the riverboat gambler, as you call me, the surprise onside kick took another minute plus off the clock. We would have liked to have scored or at least changed the field there. But, it was an opportunity to play keep away and keep RMU off the field. So the start was tremendous. It was a time of possession of that football game for people that didn't watch it was we had the ball for 38 minutes. And Robert Morris.
At one point, I think it was in the first half, like 17 plus to 3 something. I mean, it was rather impressive.
And that was the thing where it was a total 4-quarter effort. So, yeah, but the start was tremendous. And then, defensively, we got a stop right away in the first series as well. They had a chunk play. They got it almost to the 50, and we tightened up defensively. I think that was a 5 or 6 play drive. And, again, there was a lot of things that we can digest early in that football game. But it was play after play, minute after minute. I mean, we left it all on the field in Moon Township.
Yeah, certainly. And I want to get to some of the offensive stuff and some of the defensive stuff. But in week 1, you give up the touchdown right away, and you had to feel like a gigantic winner going into the locker room at 10-6. Like, wow, we really steadied the ship. Yeah. This week was the opposite. You were dominant, and in 40 seconds, it's a tie ball game. All that work is gone. What was halftime like? It had to be good because you came right back out and another 3 and out. So you lost focus for a split second, but it was right back to work. What was halftime like?
Well, the thing is, before the half, and again, I'll take total responsibility with this. It's a 14-7 football game. We had minute 47 left, and, we wanted to take a shot downfield. And unfortunately, we didn't execute the play. It was my call, and the next thing you know, interception, ball in the back of the end zone, 14-14. But we went into halftime, and it was a different feel. Like, our guys just had an edge and a confidence to themselves that it was you talk about the building blocks last week, and at halftime and everything. We learned our lessons from week 1 into week 2. I mean, we had players, captains on the team, Diaz, Klein, Holslander, etc. Hey, this is where we need to be. It's 0-0. We've been controlling the game. Let's come out, and the focus and the message. And the staff, again, we were on the iPads with our guys, just getting things in place to come out in the second half. And, we had a big second half, too, as we did the start of the game. We had a tremendous finish to that football game.
Now, Coach Papley always, when I give him a stat, he'll say, yeah, but. Well, his defense has thrown a shutout 50% of the time. In the 8 quarters you've played thus far this year, you've held your opponents scoreless in 4 of those 8 quarters. What's different this year that, it doesn't seem as if last year it felt like a mistake was just the first of the next thing, the next domino to fall. What's different this year where the second domino doesn't fall?
I think the guys are a year older and they're a year in the system, and I know Coach Papley and the defensive staff, as far as a game plan, I mean, we do a lot, and we're able to do a lot because of the players we have. And, I think we're a year bigger and stronger than we were, and it shows. I mean, we physically, that's the thing, defensively, we're getting after people. And, I can think of no better example. There's 2 plays where, we had it was 3rd and long, and we get a hit on the quarterback, and Adrian Cuevas intercepts it, and we take that thing down inside the 10. Offensively, we were able to punch it in. But that play, and then the 4th and 1, are you kidding me? The 4th and 1 where they get into heavy, and they want to jam the ball down our throat, and we just controlled the line of scrimmage and stuffed it, and gave our offense the ball back with 2 minutes left. And we were talking today in the staff meeting that from a Robert Morris standpoint, that was their longest drive of the game. It was 10 plays. It ate up almost 6 minutes of the clock, and they came away with 0 points. It actually worked in our favor. But just from the staff, again, from the top down to the players, everyone's believing we're executing at a high level. And on defense, it's really about the fundamental will and imposing your will on guys, and we're doing that.
We've spent a lot of time on this show talking about lack of chunk plays and how you have to be more explosive. Well, this year you've got scoring drives of 11 plays, 16 plays, 12 plays, 16 plays, 9 plays. You're converting it like almost north of 50%.
Well, north of 40%.
Handy to 50%, 45% on 3rd down. Chunk plays are cool, but keep away also wins football games, and obviously, that was demonstrated. And I want to talk about the game plan because the screen game against East Stroudsburg with Jerry Dinkins was huge. Coach White didn't have that, and then all of a sudden it shifted to Teagan early. They kind of took Teagan away, and then you guys just decided you were going to run between the tackles and just get north and south and just evaporated the clock. Yeah,
again, and it's just, again, credit to the staff and the players. I mean, Coach White and the offensive staff have done a great job, and that's the usually offensive coordinators script the openers, right? I don't know if everybody knows that, but, I thought the opening series, as far as the script those guys put together, was, again, we go down and score, and you're right, the trading, the shifting, the motioning, the things that we're able to do and be pretty multifaceted on that side of the ball as well. And, it's crazy. Yeah, Teagan and, Isaac Bernard on Saturday night had a quarterback rating of 141.7. He was 21 of 27, 161, 2 tutties. Again, he had the pick before the half, and again, a lot of that's on me as well. But, another week in Coach White's system, another chance, and we're really starting to develop an identity on offense. The 2 guys that we talked about today as a staff, Joe, in the staff meeting were the 2 freshman tight ends and Clayton Beazon and Jeremiah Neely. I mean, those guys, you would never know they were 18-year-old kids by the way they're playing. They've come in and are starting to become a big part of the offense and what we do. So, yeah, the methodical – and I think a lot of the success on third down, Joe, is our ability to stay on schedule offensively to get ourselves in situations to convert on third down.
Obviously, Reed's punt, 74 yards, and we're going to talk to him in a minute. That is, I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better situation inside the 1. And then, again, what a lot of people don't realize is when you play an FCS opponent, you play by FCS rules.
The TV timeout.
The TV timeout. Yeah. You had 2 minutes and 45 seconds before to discuss what happened next before they went. And again, they came out in a jumbo look and then motioned out of it to empty. Walk us through the lead up to what that was like with it being first and, I don't know, it was first and 99 and 3. I mean, it was a long way.
Well, that was the thing with the punt that Reed had. We had 2 3-and-outs all football game, and unfortunately, 21-21 ball game. Offensively, they stood up. We went 3-and-out. We were punting from our own 26, and Reed just absolutely hammered a ball where Tristan, Gage Galushka, and Logan Brooks went down, and we were able to pin it on the 1. They had a holding call, which took them to basically the inch line. And, Robert Morris come out in a 12 personnel set, as you mentioned. And then they shifted to empty and tried to get us into an automatic. And Coach Papley kept the blitz on. And they tried a double move on the outside. And it came clean through the A-gap. And Tristan made the sack. The ball goes out of the back of the end zone, and there's the safety to put us up 23-21. It was, again, great call by Coach Papp and a well-executed play by our defense.
We talk about game changers as we wrap up the segment here. We talk about where you are, and, we're always talking about building blocks and the like. The fact that Karan Robinson and that offensive line could just win
the 2 minute,
the final, 6 minutes, just win. And obviously, he had the big run, which then you really felt like this is going to happen. But I know in one of the commercial breaks, Nate says to me, he goes, we are better center guard than they. Like, we are winning. There was a couple. I remember one that I thought that it was like, oh, boy, this is going to be an 8-yard loss. And he had an incredible run to be a 1-yard gain. Yeah. But it was just that the tide was turning. And it was, we always talk about winning at the line of scrimmage. And when you had to win the game, your offensive line was able to go hat on hat and push people around.
Well, that was the thing when we got the 4th down stop. There was 2 minutes left in the game, and they had all 3 timeouts. And we treated it like a 4-minute situation where we were trying to win the game and kill the clock. And, we got 3 yards on 1st down, got us into a 2nd and 7, and then Karan rips off a 40-yard run to basically end the game. We were able to run 3 more offensive plays there. We punted from our own 41, and you can talk to Reed about it. We just said, hey, get it and hammer it out of the end zone. Let's see if they can go 80. With 16 seconds left, it took 4 seconds off the clock. They got it with 12, and we were able to finish it out. But, I don't know I think Karan had 49 yards in the 4th quarter. Is that what it was?
It was impressive.
And it starts with Holslander and all the guys up front, and Karan just finishing runs. It was an exclamation point on the win.
Final question this segment. You said you couldn't answer my question in the post game. Did it, or has it registered? I mean, again, I can't emphasize enough.
Which question are we talking about?
When I said about has it. Do you realize what it means or what it could potentially mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the 24-hour rule. We all know how big that win was for us here at Edinburgh. Beating an FCS opponent on the road. An FCS opponent, by the way, which took Utah State to the break. I think some people forget that. That's a really good football team we beat Saturday night. So and this will be a good segment to transition into Teagan and Reed here, but 24-hour rule. It's Monday. We're already on to Kutztown and thinking about what we have to do to go on the road and beat the number 9 team in the country.
All right, more. We're live at Charlie's Pub and Eatery. Reed Martin will join us, PSAC Special Teams Player of the Week, when we come back. It's the Jake Nulph Show here at Charlie's Pub and Eatery. Back with more right after this.
At the 15, he's on his feet. 10, 5, touchdown.
The Jake Nulph Show.
Go Burrow.
Welcome back to the Jake Nulph Show. We're live at Charlie's Pub and Eatery. Thanks, everybody, stopping down to check it out. PSAC West Special Teams Player of the Year. And Reed, you've made the transition from being a kicker and a corner to primarily focusing on being a punter and trying to get to the next level. I got to ask you, though, we talk about all three-pointers are worth 3 points, but the timing of them, they mean a little bit different. Everybody's made an 8-foot birdie putt, but an 8-footer to win a major is a little bit different. You hit the punt of your lifetime at the time that you actually needed to. Did you know as soon as you hit it how far it was actually going to go?
Yeah, it's kind of like playing baseball. There's like a sweet spot on your foot when you hit the ball. So as soon as I made contact with the ball, I knew it was going. And, yeah, like you said, it was just perfect timing in the game, fourth quarter, and I couldn't be any happier with what the outcome came.
Now, where we were positioned, that we were right at the return man, and he was like at the 21, 22-yard line, and you hit it. And I remember Nate goes, uh-oh, because he took a step up. And when he took a step up, you could tell that he immediately started to backpedal because he made the wrong read on the ball. When that ball was hanging, were you thinking like, oh, this is going to be inside the 10, inside the 5, or did you does that happen too quickly, or did you have the thought process when the ball was in the air?
Yeah, I knew right away that he wasn't going to catch it, and he was on the right hash, and I kicked it on the left hash to try and kick it away from him, and it was 20 yards over his head. I think he was afraid to catch it, and I got a good roll on it, and my guys, Tristan Waldier and Logan Brooks, stepped up and made a big play running down the field and stopping the ball on the 1-yard line. Like,
it is to the point now where it's not cliche. Like, it's not cliche. And special teams is like, it's terrible because everybody says when it doesn't work. It's very rare that the punter gets to be in the spotlight. Special teams, it's expected to work. Nobody talks about it until it doesn't work. But you are a legitimate weapon in terms of flipping the field. And, it wasn't just there. There was an instance in week 1 where the offense stalled out and you hammered one, flipped the field, it's got to feel pretty cool that you can literally, with a big kick of the right leg, totally change and stem the tide, and obviously none bigger than Saturday night.
Yeah, that's my job description now, is to flip the field, and I love doing that. I feel like I'm good at it, and I've been practicing all off season, and I'm just trying to make the defense make it easier for the defense to make their offense go a long way.
By the way, congratulations, Special Teams Player of the Week again. We're going to talk to Teagan Brown when we come back. We're at the Jake Nulph Show live at Charlie's Pub and Eatery, Route 99, just past the lake.
At the 15, he's on his feet. 10, 5, touchdown.
The Jake Nulph Show.
Go Burrow.
Well, welcome back to the Jake Nulph Show. We're live at Charlie's Pub and Eatery. Teagan Brown, we got a theme here. We got another PSAC Player of the Week. This on the offensive side of the ball. I gotta ask you, on the first scoring drive, you're lined up left side of the formation. You go in a hard motion. Did you just start? Were you giddy when you saw the corner coming with you?
Yeah, we repped it a lot all week. We knew that their corners, if they followed, it was most likely coming to me. And so when I saw them come with me, I was like, oh yeah, we got them.
Now, what? You had 8 for 80, but I think in the first half you had like 6. I mean, you were the go-to guy. Obviously, everybody, they get paid to make adjustments. But, talk about the first half. How you seem to be open every time they went your way.
Going over their film, we knew they were going to be in a lot of man, and so Coach White did a good job at putting us in positions to win, and we knew we had to do that.
So, as a group, to run as effectively as you did, the wide receivers have to be able to block downfield. Evan Lowe had the big block that spun Karan. In terms of the pride and for a morale purpose, that's got to feel really good to know that the wide receiving room is more than just pass catchers. You can get physical, you can be nasty, get downfield and help guys, spring it really.
Yeah. It's something Coach White emphasizes, and it's something we take personal. It makes good plays great, like to make 10-yard plays and the 60-yard runs. And nothing gets the sideline more hyped than seeing a wide receiver pancake a corner. So it's something we take real personal.
And, you are sort of the poster child, I believe, from last year to this year. You were a guy that, quite frankly, I don't think anybody knew anything about other than your teammates and the coaches. You made the absolute best of your best opportunity that you had, and now you took that opportunity, and basically you're the old head now that has the most experience in that room. You've got two really good freshman tight ends. You went in a year. You went from being this quiet kid to now being kind of the outspoken leader of your position group. What's that been like?
Yeah, it's definitely been different. It's been a lot of change since last year. Last year, I was kind of known as one of the young guys, and something I've had to work on is my leadership and communication skills, especially with the young tight ends that we have. Getting on them and making sure they know their assignments is really important. So I think that's something I've been working on.
Teagan Brown, congratulations, West Offensive Player of the Week. I appreciate you joining us here in the Jake Nulph Show. More to come. We will be joined by Coach Nulph. We're going to look ahead to Top 10 Kutztown on the road this week. When we come back, we're live at Charlie's Pub and Eatery, Route 99, just past the lake.
At the 15, he's on his feet. 10, 5, touchdown!
The Jake Nulph Show.
Go Burrow.
Welcome back to Charlie's Pub and Eatery, the Jake Nulph Show. As we get ready for Kutztown, we turn the page on Robert Morris. And you always call me the PSAC guy, which I take pride in. I don't know if there is a more overlooked PSAC school than Kutztown, and I'm probably just as guilty of it. But Jim Clements has built a monster. Yeah. We always talk about, obviously we're West biased. That's who we see all the time. But what he's done in his time, they are as good as anybody in Super Region 1. And for whatever reason, it seems that goes unnoticed. But all that guy does is win, 9, 10 games every year. And they're right on track to do it again.
And he's got Coach has done a great job there. He won at Del Val before he got to Kutztown and built a power at Del Val, and now he's got the same thing rolling at Kutztown. We got to go on the road and mix it up with the defending Super Region 1 champion, the PSAC winner, who's got a lot of back. At quarterback, they got the freshman of the year in Novak. They've got a ton of all-conference guys. They've got 2 all-conference offensive linemen returning. They got a big play receiver in number 2. They have the PSAC East Defensive Player of the Week from Week 1. At defensive end, who's number 95. The kid's he's got a motor. He's physical. Does a great job. It's a very well-coached group. It's a physical outfit. They're very sound. You can tell that they're well-coached. And there's a reason they're number 9 in the country, Joe.
Yeah, Jim Clements, 10 years, 80 wins. I was a comm major. Even I could do that math. 8 wins a year for a decade, and he's got 54 league wins. When you look at, when you first got this job, did you look at another program and think maybe that's sort of the path? Because you were in a variety of FCS schools, but when you got this job, did you look at a program and say, yeah, I think I could mold Edinboro into that?
To be honest with you, not really. We wanted to be the best version of Edinboro that we could be, and obviously that's no disrespect to any of the PSAC schools, but what we're building here, what our culture is building here, and doing all of the necessary things, I believe, in playing those FCS schools to get ready for games like Kutztown, who's number 9 in the country. That's what we want to do, and like we mentioned, how great of a job Coach has done. They played a very good Assumption team last Thursday night and beat them 24-6 at home. They'll be home for 2 consecutive weeks. We've got to go on the road. We've been in 2 really physical football games. And now I know you mentioned last week about that building block from week 1 to week 2 and how much better we needed to be. Well, now they're going to be saying the same thing. This is their second game, where this is our third. So, we've got a game in hand, but we've got to get that much better this week because, again, of the quality of opponent we're going to see.
It's funny how the goalpost gets moved, right?
Every week.
When if you win, so now we're having a different conversation. If when we first saw the schedule, you think, what is wrong with this guy? He's just Now, though, you've got a win that, let's be honest, shocked the world to get. Now maybe would there be a better time than now to play, coming off the high, obviously, the attention to detail. You don't need to sell anybody on anything. You hey, look what we did last week. We got to double down. We got to focus and try to carry that momentum to pull off another upset.
Well, and that's the thing. We've just got to be singular-minded, Joe. We've got to take it 1 week at a time. And, I'd mentioned that earlier that, look, we're on to Kutztown, and all of our focus is on Kutztown. We know the task at hand. And we've got to have a great week of practice. It starts now, and we've got to carry it all the way through to Saturday.
All right, everybody's favorite game. We love to play it at home. 2 reasons you win, 2 reasons you lose.
It's going to sound like a broken record, but again, red zone. So week 1 to week 2, we had
major improvement.
We only had 2 trips in there, and we were 50% touchdown. We went 1 for 2 this week. We had 3 trips in the red zone for 3 touchdowns. So it's going to have to be the same there. And, when they get in the red area, we're going to have to be extremely opportunistic and stingy and hold them to a field goal or no points. And then the turnover battle. I know it was 1-1, but we stat that as it was 2-1 because of the surprise onside kick. Look, we had 12 possessions on Saturday night. Robert Morris had 11. So if we can continue to steal possessions and get extra opportunities, that's always the thing. When you look at week 0 or week 1, whatever you want to call it, against Stroudsburg, we turned it over 3 times. They had 3 more possessions than we did, and you lose that by 2 scores. So those will be the tale of the tape.
All right, Coach, before we let you go, you got to,
the signature catchphrase.
Signature catchphrase.
Go ahead and give our sponsors a shout-out. Again, thank you to Bill and to Charlie's, the tremendous staff here. We had a nice crowd tonight. The Edinburgh coaching staff's in the house, so big shout out to our guys. And as always, go Burrow.
All right, thanks to everybody. We will be live on the air at 11 o'clock. The Fighting Scots Radio Network presented by ErieInjury.com. The Hobbs pregame show at 11, and of course kick at noon. Want to thank everybody that came out. Of course, Charlie and Charlie's Fat Willie's, obviously Walker Brothers Chevrolet, Erie Injury, Hobbs Do-It Center, Folkrod and Associates, American Overhead Door, all of the great sponsor, Lincoln Foundry, everybody that supports the Fighting Scots and the Fighting Scots Radio Network. We will talk to you at 11, airtime on the road from Kutztown as take on Top 10 Kutztown. For Coach Nulph, everybody here at Charlie's, thanks for hanging out. We'll do it again next week.
At the 15, he's on his feet, 10, 5, touchdown!
The Jake Nulph Show.
Go Burrow.